Hi guys, it's Candace. Welcome back. I know it's been a long time. I hope this is gonna work. Let me tell you, I've had my share of I'm guessing a month. I don't even know how long it's been. I know day before Easter Sunday is when everything's changed. So this is just to show you. This is what's left of my original phone. That the battery came loose in here while I was at the hospital, and it was stuck on this little thing, and it just rattle in my phone. So luckily I had John's phone and was able to use it. But then I had, and I'm just going to put these down here just so we'll have something underneath there so it's not glary. I had John's phone, luckily, and I'm hoping this is recording because this is the first time I've tried it on this new phone. I have not been trained on it. I'm having to learn it by myself. I'm not doing a very good job. But anyway, this is just going to be an update as to where we are. And then I will try, if this video works, then I will try to do a couple other ones. So pretty much the night before Easter, John had one of his coughing episodes and spells, which ended up lots of blood coughing up. And so Sunday, then Easter morning, he wanted to go to the hospital. We went to the hospital. His stent had fell down into his stomach. He was losing blood, so they medevaced him down to the main Vanderbilt hospital. And we're going to go Monday to have the GI thing done to see if they could get the stent out and put a new stent in. Nobody called me, nothing. So I mean, it's a 5-hour round trip down there. Sometimes longer depending on traffic and all that good stuff, but that's neither here nor there. I've hurt my hand. I mean, I'm just now able to touch my middle finger to here. Something's in here, and it's from holding the steering wheel, doing the phone, holding the phone. And so I've been trying to rub it with stuff. My son got some CBC oil. It's helped, but it's definitely in here, and I'm hoping it will get better. But anyway, so they medevaced him down to Nashville from the hospital in Lebanon, and they had already started him on blood in Lebanon, and they got him down there to Nashville, and then they gave him another pint of blood, and then Monday morning had to give him another pint of blood because he was bleeding internally. And so I had went home late, and then took care of the dogs and jumped in the shower and was heading back there. Figured if I got there by 10, because I mean, I get up, we do the dogs at 6, I feed them, they go out, and I was out the door by 8 to get there for 10. And he was supposed to be doing a conference call with work. And anyway, so I got there, and he wasn't in his room. They had already moved him down to the GI operation area for that procedure, for them to go in there. And so when I got there, I was upset because, one, nobody told me that, no one called me and told me that they were bringing him back there, or I sure would have come sooner. I was under the impression that a doctor would see him and then they would schedule his thing. So I got there, and the little receptionist lady told me, I'm sorry, you can't go back there because he's, due for surgery in 30 minutes. And so I told her that's just not acceptable. So they called the nurse, and the nurse basically tried to, shoo me off and told me that, that just wasn't their procedure. So then I had to play the cancer card and started crying. Let them know that, he was on his, that time, and that no one called me, and that I don't give permission for them to do any kind of procedure, and that I have the medical power of attorney. And, so they called the nurse back, and I, said the same thing to her because we were in a special little waiting room with a bunch of other people. And so by now they were looking, at them going, oh my gosh, I can't believe they're, not gonna let her see her husband. So the nurse, came out and brought me back there, which is I'm gonna say it, a damn good thing. Or you would have probably heard about me on the news. I'm surprised you hadn't yet, but anyway. So we went back there and I talked to him. He was all, all chipper and ready to go in and do his thing, but he wasn't quite like mentally with it. And so that's when I started kind of getting a little worried. And so, the GI doctor came in there and told us what they was going to do. I asked him questions and everything. And he was like, oh, it's just going to be a quick little 15-minute procedure. We're just going in there, fishing it out. And we're going to put another one in, a larger one. So he would be able to swallow and all that good stuff. So I'm like, okay, I'll give you 30 minutes before I start worrying. And he was like, yeah. He said, well, we'll be calling you soon. So they take me to this little waiting room by myself. And I'm in there. And 30 minutes comes and goes. I'm like, well, maybe it took a little longer because, they were going in there, taking it out, put another one in. So, 45 minutes goes, an hour passes, and then I'm like, okay, now I'm officially worried because it's been an hour. I've given them way more time than they need to. So, about hour 15 minutes comes because now I'm pacing in my little room because I'm just in this little room by myself. And caged little animal. And so they finally called and they said we had a situation where we've rushed him down to surgery in another area, and because he had a bleed when they took out the stent that had fell into the stomach. There was a blood clot in there, and when they pulled it out, it, I guess, released whatever was bleeding in there before. And he's like, they moved me down to this other location and on the other side of the hospital. And they said they were working on him and, went over the DNR with me and all that good stuff. And so I'm standing out. Okay, we'll say this is the hallway, the hallway. I'm standing out here because I can't go back in there where they're at. So I'm standing out here and my phone rings and it's this oncologist doctor calling me. And then I see his GI doctor coming from way down here, walking very fast, almost running. And I heard them call a code over the intercom, going to whatever this place was. I don't even know what this area was called. I just know John was back in this place. And so I saw Dr. Neal. He's a great guy. I saw Dr. Neal coming down, and I'm on the phone with this other man who's back here somewhere. And I'm like, is that us? Is that him? And he says, oh, don't worry. Everything's okay. He says, I'm just going to go check on him. Well, this doctor heard that over the intercom code and heard me talking to this doctor. And he's like, are you here in the hospital? I'm like, well, yes. And he said, oh, well, you don't need to be alone. I'm coming to get you. Well, that's when I started to panic. Well, I do apologize for any of you guys that were on my Facebook group that saw my text because I used the F word because I was freaking out and it was really bad. I thought I could handle the first one where they did, but when they called the code, I broke down. So this doctor pulled me back there and said that shoot. Hold on. Sorry, I had to get a tissue and put my little stuff together. And told me that something had went wrong when they were taking him. He got through the first emergency surgery, but when they were taking him off the gurney to bring him to CCU, blood just started coming out everywhere, and they that it wasn't looking good. Well, then this Dr. Neal had called me. Well, Dr. Neal's surgeon, Dr. Patel, had called me and told me that that I needed to prepare, that they were putting as much blood as they were putting in was coming out, and that if they couldn't stop the bleeding, that was it. So that's when I lost my cookies. And sent some short little notes to Laura, who, kind of got them to everybody and to Jamie. And that was before my phone had broke. So, he's telling me that, if he goes into cardiac arrest, that there's nothing they can do because where it was his aorta valve, the main one going into his heart, that had ruptured. That's the intersection of the chest. Like if you make a fist, put it between your breast and go straight back underneath your rib cage breastplate. That's where his cancer started, when it metastasized into the lung. And so, is that it was in the intersection, and that's what's been growing and growing and growing. Well, it's grown so much that it pressed. Oh gosh, I've got a gnat in here. Oh my God, it's driving me crazy. Sorry. Oh, I got him. Yes. So that's what it's been eating away at the veins and all that good stuff, which that's what was, causing, well, we've known this all along. So that's what ruptured, and they were getting a vascular surgeon over there to see if they could find where the leak was and repair it. And so that's when I started making phone calls to my kids, to his brother and sister-in-law who had just left here a week before that. And she said they were packing their stuff and coming this way. And so my daughter came in by bus. That's when my phone broke. I did not drop it. It just, anyway, they make these things so they don't last. So he made it through the surgery. Obviously, here we are. He made it through the surgery, but they, he was intubated. So I was standing out here in the hallway waiting to see if they would roll him through here, which they did. They rolled him through the main area of the hospital where everybody could see. His little face was just covered in blood, because they only changed his sheets and stuff, and then they brought him to CCU, which the CCU, I will have to say, at Vanderbilt down in Nashville, was great. They had it set up to where someone, up to 2 people, could stay in the room 24/7. But I couldn't. I had to go home. I had to drive home, take care of the dogs, and then come back first thing in the morning. I'd get home. I mean, I'd stay there till midnight. I'd come home. I'd get home at 2, let the dogs out, feed them. Then we'd get up at 6:30. I'd feed them, let them come out, and then went back down there. So he made it through, the first 2 days, and he was still intubated, and all he could do was write, because he was up and awake and coherent enough to write. So, we tried to play the writing game for the day, and then I went back home, and, well, on day 3, day 3, when he was in there, the infectious disease doctor came there. I mean, we just made it through all this crap. And then, you think that this is all you have to worry about. Well, then the infectious disease doctor came there and said that he would have to be on a 24-hour, 7-day a week, 24-hour IV drip until sepsis sets in or he passes away. Because something was contaminated in there when they were doing the surgery, when they were doing all the blood and everything, because he ended up getting 14 pints of blood on Monday during this whole 6-hour ordeal. And he said that, he's got a bacterial infection in there, that he'll have to be on this IV drop. And, I was like, okay, that's no big deal. We can do it at home. Didn't know then what I know now, but anyway, so we were like, great, we made it through all this stuff. We made it through literally 3 surgeries in one day, 2 life-threatening surgeries in one day. And now we have an infectious disease that sepsis will probably set in before the other. So, we figured that was the worst thing that we had to deal with, was hoping the sepsis doesn't set in, and doing the 24-hour IV and all that good stuff. So, I went home that night, and the next morning, I get up, I do the dog things, and the next thing you know, the phone's ringing, and it's this woman that tells me that I don't even know who she was, but her and some doctor, John called him the black-faced devil, the black mask devil, yeah, because he just was crazy. He was kind of crazy for the first week, I have to admit, because they had just lifted the no mask ban. So some doctors and nurses and people still choose to wear the mask, but a lot of people didn't. And so this man came in there and told him that you have 3 weeks to live. Well, it upset him. He just came off the intubator. He's there by himself. I told them, don't give him, he doesn't need to be talked to by himself. I mean, come on, people. Common sense. So this lady calls me and tells me that, he was upset, and that, basically what they told him. And I said, I don't want anybody to talk to him anymore unless I'm there. And I said, because, this is just wrong. And she's like, well, there'll be a palliative nurse will come in later when you get here and talk to y'all. And I'm like, okay. So I hurried up. I hadn't gotten in the shower. I just got in the shower, left with wet hair, didn't care, got down there. And this lady is in there with him in his CCU room, and basically telling him the plan. So, and I'm like, I specifically told the woman on the phone, do not talk to him about this stuff unless I'm present, because he doesn't really comprehend. He seems to, but he really doesn't. He doesn't he really wasn't. He really couldn't remember what they said, and then didn't trust anybody. And so I went in there and I said, I want him to have a sedative before we talk any further. And she's like, oh, well, I thought they were bringing it already, because, before I even got there, I told them I wanted them to give him something light, because he wasn't fighting me over sedatives yet. And they hadn't done it yet. And she was in there talking, and I just, told her, we're just not doing this. And, he can't have this kind of news by himself. So anyway, they come give him the sedative, and, she's trying to talk to him, and John just looks at me and he says, I need to know, am I dead? And I'm like, no, you're not dead. He said, the black masked devil man came in here earlier and told me that I had 3 weeks to live. And oh my God, he's up walking around now. Jeez. Anyway, and he needed to know what the truth was. Well, I told him, you want me to tell you the truth, or you want me to kind of fib? He said, no. He says, I only trust 2 people, Jesus and you. And I'm like, okay. I said, yep, you're dying. And maybe 3 weeks. So we've made it 3 weeks, but it has been a hard 3 weeks. He came home Monday night. And just to let anybody know, if you've messaged me, sent notes to Etsy, I just have not been in the right frame of mind to repeat or to reply, or I didn't even have access to my stupid phone with my messenger. I just got my messenger put on the new phone. I just found my laptop because I had put it in a bag, and anyway, I just got it, so it's charging, and I will get to everybody's stuff and will reply. But they pretty much told him, yeah, I mean, that's what it was, and that if sepsis doesn't set in first, that they're thinking his aorta valve, the repair is what's going to bust. And that's how he's gonna go. So after a long, drawn out nightmare experience with those social workers every day, they would come and see him first thing in the morning because he was on their route first thing in the morning. I would complain and fight with them every day because, hold on, I'll be right back. He's having problems. How do you pause this thing? Jeez Louise, this is a pause. Okay. Anyway, so we're on a wait and see thing. Their options were release him to hospice, which meant he couldn't have food feedings or water feedings through his feeding tube, which he is too mentally alert. He didn't want to do that. And so I agreed to let him come home so he can do the antibiotic infusions and then could still do his liquid feeds through his feeding tube and his water. So I had to get trained on how to do one thing. They didn't train me on something else that showed up here. It was a shit show. Anyway, it was an ordeal. Yeah. I will probably be looking for an attorney. But anyway, I've got to get through this first. We got his bed and stuff. They brought it Monday. They were going to release him on Saturday. They called me Friday afternoon because they don't call you until the end of the day. This group of people. And I had been running around trying to get paperwork signed for his work that he's never bothered to do. So I'd have to bring it to him, bring it back, go back, bring it back. And then took care of some Social Security stuff, which, oh dear God, learned a loop on that one. Bad thing. But, and then went to see at the funeral home Friday because we never took care of things that we were supposed to take care of. Because my motto is plan for the worst, hope and pray for the best. But John didn't want to plan. So I was basically left where I did not want to be when he was first diagnosed. So that's all I'm going to say about that. It's just been a hard time between that, his stuff, and just other things. Anyway, so my kids were here. Jennifer watched the dogs for 2 days. Robert helped repair a few things that were broke here that I needed to have fixed. And then we cleared out, his office, moved all of our beds and stuff from one room because that was like our guest room. And we had a full-size bed and a twin bed. And then we had 2 twins that pulled out underneath like trundle bed things. So we had to get them all down here and get this room set up for a bed. So like I said, I went to the funeral home Friday because I just had to have it done because I didn't want, they gave us paperwork and it was just, unreal. And so I went and did that. They worked me in for an appointment to be back at 2:30 on Friday. So these people called me at 2:20 and just came at me at all ends. Well, Crazy Candace came out and I laid into them. And, supposedly those conversations are recorded. I hope so because I will be needing it. Basically, in a nutshell, they told me that I needed to put my priorities first, that getting the hospital bed was more important. They had been working on it for 10 whole days, hadn't bothered to get anything done. I was going to the hospital supply place afterwards because, anyway, it was just a day. And that I'm screaming and yelling at them on the phone, calling them every name underneath the sun, using the F word. Oh my God, so much. Because I was late for my appointment to finalize his funeral stuff because I was doing what I was told to do and they hadn't done anything that they said they had been doing for 10 whole days. And she was like, he will be released tomorrow. I said, if you release him tomorrow, one, we don't have a hospital bed. Two, I have not been trained. And she was like, well, you need to be here at 6 o'clock in the morning and just wait for them to train you. I said, I'm not leaving this house at 4 a.m. to go sit down there because y'all haven't bothered to train me. And then she threw in some stuff about I refused to give some documents to somebody. Well, that's when I snapped. That's when Crazy Candace came out, and she was lucky I wasn't there at the hospital, because I would have lunged at her and I'd have ripped her fat little face off of her head. Okay, anyway, we're going to put the little claws back in. But I'm sorry. My husband's dying. I don't need this crap from you guys who claim to be social workers and caseworkers, who, one, I can't even understand anything she has to say because she's such a, I don't know what country she's from, but it was no, this does not work. So anyway, I hung up on them because I'm outside of the funeral home now, screaming and yelling in their parking lot like a lunatic. And I hung up on them. And I went in there and I told, the lady's like, she goes, oh, I'm so sorry you're having to do this. I'm like, no, I'm not crying upset because I'm doing this. I mean, I already did that earlier, 2 hours ago. And she worked me in to come back. And I told her, I just having an incident with the hospital. And I kind of told her, what they had said. And she was like, oh my God. I'm like, I know. I said, I just need to get this taken care of. I said, because I want to leave here with this done. So when the time comes, I don't have to worry. I don't, I just didn't want to be one of those women that get taken advantage because I didn't know who to call, what to do. So that was all taken care of. And then, so I'm left there, and I saw my son driving by in my truck, and I called himself, and I'm like, where are you at? He's like, oh, what do you mean? I said, why are you in Gallatin? And he's like, I'm looking for something, because he was out and about looking for Pokemon crap. So, and that's one reason why he came here, because he went digging in our storage place, our warehouse, well, whatever, our shop, for his damn Pokemon stuff. Anyway, so I got mad at him on that one. But, so I told him where I was, and, he got the Crazy Candace too, because, he couldn't believe what was going on. And so I told him I was going to the hospital place across from the hospital over there in Gallatin, and then I'd be home. And so I pulled in there, and it was like 4:45, and they closed at 4. And I told the lady what I needed. Well, these other people had called with the hospital beds and stuff, and he got a basic hospital bed, which we asked for the air mattress, because I'm sorry, I didn't want him to die on this crap that he has now. So we had to order one of those foam things just so he could be comfortable. Didn't even come with a sheet. Nobody bothered to tell you any of this stuff. So we had to order a sheet. Thank God the stuff got here before the bed got here on Monday, because thank you, Amazon. I mean, I thank you. Thank you, Amazon. That's all I got to say. And they're the one thing that did what they said through this whole ordeal. So, I got the woman on speakerphone, and she's saying, oh, we don't have this. That's not available. And this other lady from the office supply, the medical office place, told her, oh no, this chair is available, and I can get him a better bed. And she's like, well, this is the only prescription that we got. These are the orders that were sent in, because those people didn't give a crap. And I hope karma comes around and bites them all their 3 little in the asses twice, maybe 3 times, because you don't do this to people in this situation. Anyway, enough of that one. See, meanness is coming back out. Look, my little worry worm. I could pull her little head off, but I don't want to, because it's not her fault. She's just hanging here. So my son stopped in, and we talked and did on the phone. And we went outside, and the lady, she was supposed to go home, but she was waiting. She came back out to the car. She was like, oh, I didn't mean you had to go outside. She goes, if you want to come back in and talk and make any more phone calls, she goes, I don't mind waiting. I'm like, no. I'm like, thank you, because she was able to get on the phone with this lady and kind of told her she was full of crap, and that she would be more than happy to help us find the things that we requested 10 days ago on Monday. But she closed at 4 and didn't have time. So anyway, we got the stupid bed here Monday. I got trained Saturday, all of 10 minutes. And then by the time he got home, I forgot what I learned. And then they sent this other stuff that I had to put in the IV, well, in his pump thing, his port, which Monday would have been 7 days, because you're supposed to change the needle on there for the access to his port. every 7 days. And I made sure 4 days before he was being released on that Friday, I wanted to make sure that they changed that thing before he came home. Do you know he came home with the same old one in there for that Monday was 7 days. And he texted me and said that, oh, Vanderbilt didn't have a part that they needed for my thing. So a nurse will be out tomorrow sometime to do it. You're a damn hospital, people. You're a learning training hospital. How can you not have these things to these power ports that people have? He's not the only one that has this. Millions has it. Anyway, yeah. So he gets home. He's exhausted. I'm exhausted. My son's exhausted. We're just wore out. You know, Jennifer went home. I don't even know what day. Tuesday night or Wednesday. I don't even know. Robert stayed until Sunday. And so I could, go back and forth and see John and then handle his stuff from work and everything. And then get his approval to work from home so he can finalize some stuff with some of his employees that's there, because he hadn't told anybody. It was serious, so they were all shocked. So I'm the one that had to tell them that crap. But anyway, so he's home. It's been a hard week, but we made it through a week. He's had every day gets harder on him, which is harder on me. He refused pain medicine, but 3 days ago he begged for it, so I had to called in, went and got it. It's really not strong enough, but anyway, it's just been an ordeal. And when I do, I'm hoping I can get this video uploaded and done, because my nerves can't take it. Anyway, so I may not. If I do, I have some Happy Meal shares. I mean, Tommy sent me something. Rhonda sent something. I got a couple of things. So I'll probably do some Happy Meal shares and stuff, but I'm not going to talk about any of this because it's just, anyway, it's too much. So, we're just waiting for his time. If he continues to get worse, which, he's supposed to have 6 of those feeding things a day. I agreed to 5. The first 2 days he did 5, then he went to 4, then he went to 3, and the last 2 days he's been on 2. And today he's managed to get, I think he's on number 4. That's what he's up there doing right now. Because, I told him if he can't eat, then we have to call hospice. And because there's no point in being in this much pain and not eating or drinking, because I can't take it. And I know it's not supposed to be about me, but if you're in that much pain and you can't eat or drink, then we're going to have to swap over to hospice. So we will see how this week goes. And like I said, I will keep you posted, but I will, it won't be long. So, anyway, I will try to get caught up on my Facebook stuff. I mean, Laura's been real good about keeping that posted. Jamie's been good about writing some stuff on the YouTube channel. And I think posting in the, I don't know. I don't even know. I don't know. I'm really just not 100% in the brain game with all this stuff. And I know a lot of you have been wondering and everything, and it's just, too much. Can't repeat myself that many times. It's just too hard. It was hard enough in the hospital to have, and then everybody else. But yeah. So that's kind of where we are. We're on a waiting game. So I guess we call tomorrow to find out what his blood work has been, because they sent that to some PCP that he's only seen one time, which I don't like, because we've only seen her once. She hasn't treated his cancer. I would have rather them send it to his cancer doctor. But anyway, and then we have a telemed with him Monday, just to see, because I want them to continue to like be his main doctor as far as if we need any medicine or anything, because they have been there for me. And I don't know who this other person is, and I don't want to use her. I want to use them. So I'm hoping we can maybe get that resolved. But yeah, so that's where we are. And oh, well, he's really trying hard to make it through May 6th, because I'll give him 10 years at his job, which allows me to get a larger portion of his retirement from work. And then, oh my God, Monday, because he couldn't find a Social Security card. So I had went Friday to the Social Security office, got a form for him to fill out. Then I brought it back Monday, and had to bring all my power of attorneys and stuff, and all the stuff to make them happy, to show I wasn't trying to get a new card to do whatever with it. I don't even know how to be a criminal. So, damn. Anyway, and I just happened to ask, because I remember my stepmom saying that I had to be a certain age before I could even draw against his Social Security, because the spouse can get half of theirs, and depending on if mine was more or his was more, which his will probably be more. I still got to check on mine, but half of his will be more. The kicker on that is, if he hasn't filed Social Security yet, you get this much, 2 big fat zeros. So Monday I was in freak mode again, because John wasn't going to file until he was 66 and a half, which this May 26th he'll be 66. I'm not trying to put him in the ground sooner, but I don't, he can, he might can, but I don't think he'll make it 6 more months after that. So anyway, they told us we need to do disability. Well, disability, you had to quit your job. Well, if you quit your job to get the disability, then we lost his insurance. And so I told him, you can't file disability because we lose the insurance. The only way you can stay at home this way with all this medicine and stuff is because you have insurance. So we called, Social Security attorneys. Only one called back, who was a creep. Basically told him to file the disability. Well, luckily, this was the first time he didn't do something on his own, because he's bothered to do everything else on his own. So, I told him, I explained to him, if you do disability, you have to quit your job, take early retirement, which is fine, but you have no insurance. And he was like, oh. So we went ahead. He started the online thing for his Social Security. It takes 3-4 months for it to be approved. So by the time it's approved, he won't be drawing a paycheck. So, but I think I have to wait till I'm 62. I don't even know. I have to find out. Or 67. It's one or the other. I don't know. And I'm 7 years younger than him. And so I've got to figure that out. But I'll worry about that when that ship comes in. I don't know. It's too much stuff at one time. So if there's anybody out there who has been given a diagnosis of cancer and possibly uncurable, a time frame, make sure you take care of your Social Security stuff. I mean, that's a big doozy of a, oh my God, situation. And yeah, and have all your things done and your ducks in a row plan for the worst, pray for the best. But God, people, have a plan. Don't leave your loved one or loved ones with everything to do at the last minute, because you never know when it is. And when it's here, you can't do nothing once they're gone. They have to take care of everything while they're here. So anyway, I know this was just a morbid thing. Here, let me put some butterflies on here just to, oh, and there's flowers on there. That looks like a funeral thing. Oh my God. So here's some Christmas little mice and some mushrooms. Yeah, that's more cheerful. So anyway, I'm sorry to be whoever that is. Downer, Nancy Downer, or I don't know. But the time's here. It's officially here. All shoes have fallen off, and we just wait. And like I said, I was trying to do a video yesterday, but yesterday was such a bad day, and I couldn't even start it without crying. So, yeah. So anyway, please, everybody's like, Tommy and them has posted in my thing as far as to keep me monetized, you know, with my 1,000 subscribers or more. I don't make any money off of it. I'm not that big. You have to be larger, I think. I don't know. I just do this because I love doing this, and I usually hope I bring joy to people, but today I just had to say it once and share the news. And like I said, if you send me email or send a note on the Etsy or Messenger or whatever, well, my Messenger is now working. And like I said, tomorrow my laptop will be charged. Well, hopefully it'll be charged tonight so I can try to get this video in there. And then I will get back to answering some. I might not for all what I've missed or whatever. I might just do hearts and then just start replying on this one, just because there's so much, and I'm trying to save my hand and my thumb, because I'm telling you, when I broke this hand and all these fingers, this all did not hurt as much as this hurts. This is unbelievable. So I know I'm just rattling. But thank you for all your love. Thank you for your support. Thank you for everyone who's checked in, commented, and just, and I'm sorry that I just couldn't do a whole group thing sooner. Anyway. So, just couldn't do it. But I know if I wait longer, it's going to be worse. So I just wanted to do one. And then, like I said, hopefully tomorrow, because I'm kind of learning his schedule, his routine, as far as when he actually sleeps, and all the stuff when you know, certain times of the day. And I will get down here and try to get out of that at least for a couple of days and see if I can't get a couple videos done, and then that way I can get some posted. But I will try real hard to do updates on my Facebook and try to get back into that. But like I said, I'm sorry that I just didn't keep everybody posted better. It's just been truly the worst, almost a month. And you know, I know the harder times are coming, but anyway, so enough of that. And I will see y'all on the next video. And like I said, I will try to get this out of my head so I can get some happy videos with just some other stuff and not talking about this. But anyway, I wish it was better news, but you know, it is what it is. So lots of kisses, lots of love. Thank y'all. Like I said, I wish I had some other videos in the background or something to put on there or whatever, but I just truly, between not having a phone, I can't believe, oh, Faithful died, and I got this new thing, which I hate it. Did I tell you earlier? I hate it. I don't like my new phone. Oh, why must people make things different? Some of us just like what we have. We know how it works. We know what it does. We don't need any extra toots and whistles, just the basics. So anyway, and then they changed the little icon colors. I mean, come on. My camera thing is red. I've had blue for 20 years. And now anyway. So yeah, just little things, you know? Anyway, so I will see y'all on the next video. And I know I've got Happy Mail here that I never mailed out. And I'm going to, like I said, I probably won't write the addresses. It's probably going to be on a sticky label. So I apologize in advance for the people who are on my little Happy Mail list, that it will more than likely be printed on a label and stuck on there, just because I know there's no way I can write that much. All right, now I've just rattled enough to say, hey, welcome back. Welcome to the Rattling Candace Show. So, and I have my little happy, no whining up here. So I'm going to try to be on there. But, there's just a lot of you out there that, you know, are really good friends with me. And I know I have not been in contact with you and done, but I will. I'm begging. For your love and friendship to get me through what's coming. Crap. So anyway, that's enough. So I need to go up there. It's almost 9. We got to do our little IV change and our little heparin flush and all the other stuff, and get him settled for the night. And that way I can do the dogs, and then I am gonna see about, oh, I can put my old phone up now. Put him in the proper old phone burial drawer we have with all these old phones, which actually might be worth some money nowadays. But so I will see y'all on the next video, and y'all have a great day and a blessed day. And again, lots of kisses, lots of love, and I'll see y'all soon. Bye, guys.